Well, this is Steve Ridgel, and today my wife Marcia and I are celebrating our 48th wedding anniversary. We've been married 48 years. In some ways, it seems like just the other day, and in some ways, it seems like a lifetime. And because we married young, for us, it kind of is a lifetime in a way. I see a lot of married couples, and I come from a family that stays married a long time. I just thought this was normal, but in looking around, I realized there are an awful lot of marriages that don't see 40 years, much less 48. Some of them, people who just wanted their mate, just decided they were tired of being married and broke it off. Sometimes their mate chose someone else, sometimes their mate died way too early in our view. But a lot of people don't make it this long. So people say, so what's the secret of staying married for 48 years? Well, I'm going to tell you the three things I think you build your marriage on. It's really worked well for us. In fact, I've married a lot of couples over the years, and I say this in a lot of the wedding ceremonies I do. Here are the three loves you have to make your marriage last. And both of you have to have these. Number one, love Jesus. I'm going to tell you, if it wasn't for the love of Jesus, we wouldn't be married, not for 48 years. There have been two or three times when if I hadn't really loved Jesus, it'd have been easy to give up. And for Marcia, there's been, well, probably more like 200 or 300 times. But because you love Jesus, you honor certain commitments. And because you love Jesus, you extend grace and mercy and forgiveness. And every marriage that goes more than the honeymoon, longer than the honeymoon, probably needs some grace and forgiveness occasionally. Well, we learn that from Jesus. And if you love Jesus, you're in a church community. And if you're in a church community, you see a lot of marriages that go before you that show you how to stay together for a long time. So I'm going to tell you, if you want a long marriage, love Jesus first, even more than you love your mate. Number two, I'm going to tell you ought to love your marriage. We're in a culture where marriage isn't really honored and respected and revered. Boy, it is nothing for people to try out living together and not get married. It's nothing for people to say, well, I married him, it just didn't work out. I'm restless. I need something else. That person over there looks better. Not the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, but the person on the other side maybe looks more appealing. Married, divorced, it just doesn't mean much anymore. Boy, it's easy for people to make fun of their mates. I'm going to tell you, love your marriage enough that you don't disrespect your marriage. Just don't disrespect your marriage. Don't ever make fun of your spouse. You always defend your spouse. You brag on your spouse. You hold your spouse up. You talk about my girl. You talk about my man. You talk about my wife, my husband. You hold up your spouse. Never ridicule or make fun of your spouse. Not to them, but certainly not to anybody else. And above all, not in public. Never be the one that talks bad about your spouse, because you're going to honor your marriage. You chose them and they chose you. Love your marriage, and that'll see you through some hard times. And finally, I'd remind you to love each other. Love your mate. Go back every once in a while and remember the reasons you fell in love with them. Just jot down what it was about them that attracted you and drew you to them. And it's a good practice to focus on the positive things and not so much the negative things. And one of these days you'll have an anniversary, and then you'll have another one, and then another one, and you'll sit down and look around and say, wow, 48 years. And you'll look at your kids and think, what a great legacy. You'll look at your grandkids and be delighted that God has blessed you. So I'm thankful that I married someone who loves Jesus, loves our marriage, loves me. And I try every day to commit to love my Jesus, love my marriage, and love my Marcia. God has really blessed me. So, honey, happy anniversary of 48 years. I hope these will help you see your 48th anniversary.